Hello and Happy New Year. Happy 2021 and welcome to Stitches and Jacks. My name is Karen and you are more than welcome to come and spend a bit of time with me. I look forward to sharing your company and showing you what I've been busy on since we were last together. What have I got for you today? I've got some knitting, I've got some finished objects, and I've got some whips, a little bit of crochet talk, my word of the year. I'd like to share that with you, see what you think about that. I'm going to attempt Make 9 this year. I'll discuss that a bit later. I'll share some incoming goodies with yourselves. And then I think we're also going to have some stash diving. So I think that will be under the knit, will come under the knitting umbrella. So we will have a look at that. So where can you find me? You can find me on YouTube at Stitches and Jacks. You can find me on Ravelry at Stitches and Jacks, and you can find me on Instagram at Stitches and Jacks. And if you want to send me a personal message, ask me a question, you can find me at my email address, which is stitchesandjacks.com. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember now that I thought about it. I'll put it underneath, and I'll probably put like a slide in at the end so that you can find me, or put it my details in the down below bar. I'll have quite comprehensive notes, so have a lock there, and you should find all that information. I'm just trying to look at the camera because I'm always looking to my right, but I really should look towards my left, so I'm hoping that this is coming out okay. So we will see in the editing process. Right, I'm not going to go over what I did in 2020. I did the Vlogmas, which was really enjoyable and really successful. I got lots of lovely comments, so thank you very much, and thank you to all the new subscribers, and thank you very much to everybody that was watching, and that especially if you left me a comment. That was really lovely to have that interaction, so which was really nice. I did do a video at the end of December between Christmas and New Year, and sort of did a roundup. So if you want to go and have a look, if I'm conscious if people don't celebrate Christmas or it's not for them, so I did sort of something a little bit different, so hopefully that would be okay. One of my challenges last year was to knit 12 pairs of socks, and I managed to finish that just before, I think it was New Year's Eve. I might have finished my last sock, I think, or had I finished this before? I can't quite remember, but these were my Yarndale socks. So they were my stripy socks. These are the ones that I had to undo and redo because the pattern had said a 3mm needle and it was just too loose for me. And these were my beautiful Advent Christmas socks that I had knitted. So I have those. So let's start with, I'm going to look this way because it is just so alien for me to look to my left. So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm not looking straight at the camera, but I think I'm a lot more relaxed looking at this angle. And it's also new. It seems like weeks ago, months ago, and it's only been a few weeks, hasn't it? Let me start with finished objects. Well, my first finished object is one that I started before I'd even finished my gift knitting. And these are my mittens. So I'll put these on. I think when I saw you last, I think I'd completed one mitten, and now that I have a pair of mittens. So these are really lovely. I really love the cuff. I've knitted mittens before, but mainly for children. Even though they're different size, you're still technically producing the same garment. So if you're new to knitting and you're unsure on something, always knit it. Perhaps knit a child's size, because you can always gift it or just undo it. At least you haven't had to spend so much time doing it. I'm really, really pleased with the thumb gusset. You see that there? Isn't that funny how when you get in front of the camera you can't turn your hands or turn things the right way. The reason that I wanted to just knit a vanilla pair of mittens is because I was conscious of this gusset. Even though I understood the process, I think I'd made, the last pair of mitts I made was for my niece, and I was struggling with the pattern because I was doing what the pattern was saying, but it was still coming up really tight, and I just had like an enormous hole in here. There was nothing to pick up, and I spoke to the lady in the local yarn shop, and she could see my frustration, and she had a look at the pattern. She was able, with all her experience, she was just able to read it and say that the pattern was wrong, and I needed just to make just pick up some more stitches. Then it was fine. So that was my test, and this is who I used. Hopefully that's not too shiny. I'll put these details down for you. And it's really worth going and looking on this lady's website. This is a free pattern, and she has got some absolutely fantastic patterns on there. Some are free, some are paid for. And so I made these on, I think, 2.5 needles. 2.5 needles. Let me just check. Beg your pardon. 2.25 DPNs. I knitted these on, and the yarn that I've used I got from Craft Creations. Not Craft Creations. Oh my word, this is not going well at all, is it? Because a few weeks off, you're just rusty. Crafty CLEGG Creations, and this is her yarn, and this is simply caramel, and it's beautiful. And this is to go with the shawl that I made earlier in the year, the Good Vibes shawls that I did in the turmeric by Islington, and the cream was by Pixie Yarns, good friends, I think. So I wanted a pair of mittens to go with it, and I've got a hat as well that I had knitted. So I'm all matchy. So I made those, and I think with everything that was going on just for Christmas, I just decided to cast those on. I just needed something to, I don't know, just to sort of not to think about anything, just to sit there quietly and just be mindful, you know, while I was knitting, just enjoy like the rhythm of the needles and the yarn. And stocking stitch, I think, is very sort of quite cathartic, isn't it? It's just you can just lose yourself, you can just be calm, and you can just enjoy, you know, that quiet, slow, rhythmic process. And I think that's what I needed, and I couldn't put them down. I really enjoyed them. So after that, and I'd finished my Christmas knitting, so I went back to an outstanding whip. I don't have very many things cast on at one time because that's not something that I can cope with, in the sense of I think I'd just feel it'd be too pressurised. So for let me just check that I've got this the right way around. Yes. So this is my KIRIA COVE shawl, and this is garter stitch. There's some eyelets in the beginning of the pattern, and then you have the beautiful second colour like to go through it, and it is an absolute delight. I think I might have been about a third of the way through, and that took me through, as I say, I picked up again, it took me through New Year, and I think I finished it the day after New Year. And again, I think it was the same rhythmic process, the same mindfulness that I just needed. Excuse me. So this is made with Stranded DYEWORKS. So this is Don't Touch Your Face. I think this is this colour. Don't Touch Your Face is this colour, and Deep Feelings. I'll put the details down below. But that was beautiful, and yes, I really enjoyed doing that. I think also it's a bit of a, by doing the stocking stitch, the stocking stitch on the mittens and the garter stitch on this with the eyelets as well. It's kind of a bit of a palette cleanser, I think. It was, you look at this, it's just, you see that? You can see the eyelets. Yeah, a bit of a palette cleanser, so that was really lovely. So I enjoyed doing that, and that was nice to, not a calm down, but that kind of thing, sort of drawing a line under those projects. So the only other thing that I had on the needles was a baby garment that I had started. I might have started it back in September, and to do a baby's cardigan wouldn't take me a few days. It was one of those things I put down because other things had got in the way, and then I didn't go back to it. So I undid it, and the reason I undid it was because by the time I finished it, it probably wouldn't fit, or it would only just fit. So that's, I don't think it's worth giving. I've made that crochet blanket the baby star, so they've had that. So that was my baby gift. So I still have this. So Benjamin, my youngest grandson, needs some hats. So his mum asked if I would knit some hats. So I did. So I chose this one, which again is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's Yarnspirations. So that's what it looks like. So I use the same. I'll use the yarn, and that's what I've made. So he little monkey pulls his hat off, as they do at that age. So put his head in there, and then that'll keep him, keep him warm, keep his neck warm. So this looks enormous. I've done age 1 to 2, but we put it on. It is a little bit big, but he has got room. And then she wanted a pair of mittens as well, so I've made those to go with it. So we've got those. So this again, it's just very simple. It's just garter stitch, and I've done a 2x2 rib, which is what Pat said as well. I had to pick those up, and you literally just cast this on, and then you just sort of knit. Once you get to this stage, you just sort of cast off until you kind of get the point, and then pick the stitches up for the rib, to go round the neck. And I'm thinking actually I might see if I can make one for the other boys, because if that's an ideal thing, then you haven't got to worry about when they're running off and losing like hats and scarves and everything. Once it's on the head, it'll be on the head. So we could do that. Right, so I've spoken to you about the KIRIA COVE shawl. It was by Standard DYEWORKS. The navy was Deep Feelings. Oh, and it's Wash Your Hands, beg your pardon. It was Wash Your Hands. I thought I've got Don't Touch Your Face, but I'm going to make a pair of socks out of that. So yeah, they are my finished objects. Cast on of the new year on New Year's Day was my socks for the Rainbow Chronicles. So I have a hose. I think that comes before my whips. I can't find my sock blocker. I had it and I've left it somewhere in the house. So this is my hoe. Look at that yarn. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely lovely. And can you see the pattern on the sock? Put it that way, to see that. Can you see that? This is just so beautiful. The yarn is by West Green Loft Yarns, and the pattern is by LYNDSEY TRANTER from Stitch Create Love. And the sock pattern, excuse me, I have to bend down. You think you've got everything, and then all of a sudden you haven't. These are the seasonal fruits. So that's what they look like, the seasonal fruits. I say this pattern is by LYNDSEY TRANTER of Stitch Create Love. And I test knitted for her back in October for her first ever pattern, Flight of the Bumblebees. And the one thing I really like about LYNDSEY's pattern, I'm not a very experienced sock knitter, even though I've made that to 12, but I hadn't done a German short row heel, so that was in here. But I tend to knit cuff down. That's how I was taught, and that's what, well, I say that's why I prefer that. So anyway, let me rephrase that. That is the only way that I knew how. So having getting Lizzie's pattern, you get 2 patterns in one, because you can either do them cuff, I'm holding this upside down, cuff down or toe up. So I was able to do toe up. So I've picked these up, I have cast them cuff down, and then I thought later on in the year, because I'm going to do these 12 socks, I'm going to do the same pattern in a different yarn, but I will do them toe up, and practice that technique. I've got a I have got a sock block. It is a sock book, so this is what I've started, and I tend to. It isn't all fancy. I think that's my NHS number there. I don't know whether that's worth anything. But I tend to write the details, the designer, the pattern, the size I'm doing. I might write my notes on there. I'll put a label, piece of yarn in. So these were my raspberry trifle socks in the West Yorkshire Spinners colourway. So I've got Lindsay's already in waiting. I've got some yarn there, so they will go in there. They were Rainbow Chronicles. They were my Yarndale socks, but I haven't put any of the yarn in. So I just keep a detail of the date I started, when I finished them, what method I used, so that I can go back and look at those. And it's a good indication of the skill set that you're acquiring. I thought at the back I might write down the different heels, like the different heels that I have completed, and sort of the different toes, and whether it's a top up and top down, and just see if some kind of pattern emerges. They were my socks. That's my the Flight of the Bumblebees. So I've got to stick that in my book. Right, Make 9. I've heard of it, and I didn't fully understand what was sort of behind it. I like the thought. Anybody that knows me knows I love a list. Love a list. Might not necessarily stick to what's on the list, but I love a list. It's cathartic for me in the sense of I can get it out of my head and get it on paper. At least I've done something with what's going on up there. So for my Make 9, I think I was going to discuss a couple of things rather than go into each and every one. I'm hoping to come back within a couple of weeks and I can discuss a bit more, further. I don't want to bore all of you either, but I think the understanding is you choose sort of 9 projects, and I was thinking, I'll do 9 for knitting, 9 for crocheting, 9 for cross stitch, and I thought, no. That's too much. That's too much. I like the idea of having some kind of focus, but I don't want the pressure, because it's supposed to be something that is fun, that is enjoyable, that's relaxing. So I did a little bit of research. I've looked at the hashtag. So the hashtag is make 9. So have a look, go on and have a look at that. And I think that Home Row Fibre Co. Founded this in about 2015. I think that's the correct information. So they give you like a template. You can go on to the Make 9 hashtag, and I think you can download a template, which I've got. So I have all these squares, look at that, blank paper to fill out. So I thought, right, okay, so I'm going to do that. Then they had 9 questions, which I found really interesting. So I've selected for today, and this is kind of what I'm working on at the moment. If you go on and have a look, I've looked at question 2. What did you learn from last year's successes and failures? What did I learn? And that's quite an interesting question. So I think when I first met you, when I first had your company, back in August last year, my main whip was a christening shawl that I was making, and it had been on my needles for about a year. So this is the christening shawl that I was making, and it's in 3-ply lace. That was an unfortunate slip of the tongue, wasn't it? So you basically make 3 triangles. You cast on, I think it's like 273 stitches. That's embedded on my brain. And then you gradually decrease to a point and then sew them all together and then make a frill, separate frill, and then attach that. Just like that. And look how much I'm giggling. I had tears over this. So that's the middle. So yeah. So at one point it would have been a failure because I just put it down. It was too much. And I think the first thing was my approach, in the fact that, like most of us, I want to knit everything or make everything. And yeah, you truly underestimate the time it's going to take, and with that causes the pressure. It was on 3.25 millimetre needles, and I use straight needles, and 3-ply yarn. What I didn't understand at that point were lifelines, that when you do a pattern repeat, you know, in the lace you can thread something through. Also stitch markers, how to use stitch markers. So when you have a pattern repeat, it sounds easy now, but you put the stitch markers in, so that saves you having to do all the counting. It breaks it down more so that you can, you know, just count, you're not losing your place all the time. And I just wish that I'd known all that in the beginning, rather than being so adamant that I was making this shawl and he was having it for his christening day. I was his grandma and I was going to be doing that. I don't think, you know, I think I started it September 2019. I must just, or before then, I think. And I wanted, it was supposed to be ready before he was born, but I think I got frustrated and I put it away. I thought, I can't do it. I was really upset. And then I saw this shawl. I had the yarn 2018, the last time I went to Yarndale, and it's called the Stylena shawl. And I knitted this. And it was then, I think, that I had watched a few more podcasts and I'd found out a bit about lace knitting. I've done lace knitting in the past, but nothing to this length. And this is where I picked up the knowledge for the stitch markers and the lifelines. So yeah. So I knitted that. And you know, that was dead easy. Well, yeah, dead easy. Did I do? No, I did a stretchy. It's a stretchy cast off. Yeah, for that, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's surprising when you, yeah. I think if your approach is wrong, then it puts so many more obstacles in your path. And I'm very much a kinesthetic learner. I have to, a very visual learner. Hello, babe. Yeah, I'm filming, but you can come in and give a cup of tea. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Do you want to say hello to everybody?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Cheers, hon. So that's kind of a mixture of the two. A failure that I think turned into a success. And I am really, yeah, I'm really proud of that. Really proud of it. And he's still not been christened. He's still not allowed to be christened. And I'll tell you something. If he can't get christened until he's 21, his poor old grandma is going to come up behind him, get on a step or something, and have this round his shoulders. And he is going to wear it. So, yeah. So bless him. I did say that I'd try and I'd dress up you know, put a hat on or whatever, and we'd have some fake photographs. So perhaps I'll still do that. Now that would be quite funny. That he's got a fake christening photograph. So I thought, yeah, that question was really interesting, and I look back at that and I think about that memory. So that was really interesting. The second question that I looked at was a stash bust. I don't know about you. I don't know whether you have a stash or you don't have a stash. I do have a stash, and I have a sizable stash, and I will share that with you next time. But what I am planning to do is I've gone through and I've done a stock take, and I'm really happy that I have done that stock take. I kind of found things that I'd forgotten, so I think it's quite a good idea actually every so often perhaps to go through your stash and just see, and maybe you look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, you know, a different pair of eyes, because you bought it for such and such and you're not going to make that anymore, or you're going to make it but that one. I bought a lot and the boys perhaps have grown out of things. So yeah, so stash busting for me has been going through my yarn, tallying everything up. I did say that I couldn't buy any commercial yarn last year unless it was for a certain project, which I managed to stick to. Earlier in the year, Benjamin, his mum wanted just a chocolate brown cardigan, because that kind of went with everything, and an emerald green one. Green's a favourite colour, and I hadn't got any, so I bought both of those and I made them, and I've got the photographs, I've got the proof, so that I'm really pleased. And I made a big dent in my stash, more than I thought. I've also given some away as well, and I thought that might be a good comparison to just have a separate figure for what I've given away and to what I've used. I think your tastes do change, and you are influenced by other things that come along. I have got a lot of yarn that I just bought for £1, in the sense of I've got some I've got a huge crate of Sublime yarn that was £1. It was a closing down, a shop was closing down for retirement, so I just had to buy it, and once I started I just couldn't stop. I've been to Black Sheep Wools, they've had some yarn. I think they do it the third week in May, but it's only applicable in store. You actually have to go in store, and I bought a whole bag, a whole kit of I think, was it Debbie Bliss? I'll have to get it out. I think it's Debbie Bliss yarn for the Spice of Life crochet cowl, and it's like shades of blue. It's absolutely beautiful, and I would like to do that blanket. And they'd reduced it. I think they'd reduced it. I think it was half price, and I sort of walked away, got to the door, and I thought, you know what, I need to get that. That is such a good bargain. Even if I don't make that blanket, if all the blues, I could just do that for the boys. And by the time I got back, so I picked it up. By the time I got back, this lady came up behind me. She went, "Oh, should we just found another one?" And she looked. She said, "You've got one. That's a real bargain." She said, "Good on you that you've got that." And then I walked away. I picked the other one up. I thought, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to have it. Yeah, so I've got that as well, and it's beautiful yarn. So that is something I need to have a look at. But that's why I've got some that I've gone places and I've bought, you know, because it's on such a good deal. But I think last year I've gone on to the hand dyed yarn, and I didn't have to put that in my tally, so now I do. So that's the next thing that I'm working on. And I have to be, my goal is to be a bit more mindful about what I'm buying. But I think to be a bit more mindful, I need to have the experience. I've knitted a couple of shawls, and it's working out what you buy. It's very, very different. I'm making different things. I still want to make things for the boys because I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But one of my goals last year was to make something myself, and I've made like a few things, so that was really nice. So yes, and so I'm going to go to Stash Bust, and we'll talk about that. for make 9, one of this, I'm going to talk about 2 things that I would like to make. One of the things that I would like to make is the Whitmore jumper. Everybody that I've seen that has worn it has just looked amazing. I've fallen in love with that pattern, and I think it was released sort of the end of 2019, and I just kept thinking, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. Plus I'm very conscious that I am blessed in this area, so I was like, no. And then I thought, just before Christmas, I thought, you know what, I am going to have a go at that. That's what I want to do. What's the worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't fit me. I made the Tin Can Knits, I think it's called the Flax Sweater, in the Aran for for Freddie, Fabulous Fred. I think there was a picture of him. Yeah, there was a picture of him on the kitchen table, standing up, showing the jumper that his grandma had worn. So I understood the concept of that, and I think that would probably be the best way for me to go if I want to make a jumper, is that I can try it on and then I can look at this this area down here. So I have something to share with you. Right, I think I've got my needles in the right place. I should turn it upside down, I think. I am proud of myself. So proud of myself. So yes, just turn up a bit more. Yeah, this is such a beautiful pattern. So well done, Amy, well done, and thank you for being the one that inspired me to have a go at making a jumper for myself. Oh my word, look at that. It is beautiful, beautiful. Lindsay's got it. I think it's in like a really lovely peachy colour. It's beautiful. And I've just seen Paula's got it, and she is a brave lady. She's knitted it in black, and that would be hard work on your eyes, though she's younger than me, so perhaps she's okay. But oh, well, she looks fabulous in it, as does Lindsay. Lindsay was one that inspired me to make it, because when she started a year ago, she said that she wasn't a very experienced knitter, and then all of a sudden she had this jumper, and I was like, oh my word, I need to give it a go. I need to stop faffing about and just go. So yeah, so last August I couldn't have done this. I'd have been, no, I can't do it. So I've got that shawl done, that's it. Do anything now. So let me show you the yarn. Well, there is a bit of a story behind this. I wanted to make myself something, but what I didn't want to do is to spend a lot of money and find out that it didn't fit really. So, which I think a lot of people, puts a lot of people off. If I was like that, it'd be dead easy, because I don't need one ball. But because I'm the size I am, and I'm fairly happy, fairly comfortable with that. It's more this area here. It needs a little bit more. I understand that what I like might not necessarily be what I buy, and I'm fine with that. So I have bought, with not further ado, yeah, I've got it the right way up. So it's a STYLECRAFT Bellissima, and this is, I need to put my glasses on, I think it's just pure acrylic. I said that word. I don't care. Where is it? I'm sure it is. Yeah, it's 100%, but it's premium acrylic. So it's approximately 268 metres and 293 yards per ball, and it's called Denim Blue, which is absolutely beautiful, this colour. So I bought it for another project. I swatched for it, my swatch was fine, and I did the pattern, and I don't quite know what I did. I don't think there's anything wrong with the pattern, I think it was me. So I just ripped it back. It was one of those things, I just ripped it back and put it back, instead of giving myself the time. And I think that's what's important. It's giving myself the time and the belief in myself and my abilities. Oh, can't do it. Shove it away, put it in a bag. So yeah, that's my goal this year, is that I'm going to believe in myself that I can do these things, so that I want to do this. So yeah. So I'm at the point where I've split for the sleeve. So I just put some like old needles on. So I've done a needle inventory. So that, yeah, goes in, goes out, and I know exactly where it is. So yes, I am really pleased. The pattern is so well written. It really is. It's absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to do like a yoke sweater. And I made a yoke sweater, a colour work one for Benjamin for his birthday, for his first birthday. And it's lovely. I mean, swamped him at first. He's kind of growing into it because it's age 1 to 2. But he just looks so adorable in it. It looks adorable in anything. So yes, this is the, as I say, Whitmore sweater. Just for anybody that doesn't know, let me just find. And there she is. Look, she's beautiful in that forest. You see that there? So yeah, it's stunning. You can see what I do. Look, I just write all over my patterns. Have a notebook. So I need to, that's one thing I want to do, is get a notebook for myself now that I'm knitting. So that is one of my Make 9 patterns, and that will be well, a challenge to myself, but I don't think I'm giving anything away, in the sense of, obviously you do your ribbing, and then Amy's really good the way that she has written this pattern, and she has it step by step, and she gets you to put the stitch markers in, and you work within those stitch markers. And I kind of just flew through. I must admit, I had like a couple of days I didn't do very much. I was like, oh, I've got to make this, can't stop. And, yeah, so I got that done. So that's my one of my Make 9. Let me show you the other Make 9 that I would like to achieve this year. Right, so I've got the pattern. I don't know if you can guess what I'd like. It has been released. I think it was released Boxing Day, and it's due to be finished, I think, the 1st of February. So that's a lovely Stephen West and his fabulous shawl. Winter light shawl. I would really like to have a go at that, and I've spoken to somebody that has made it, and she's been lovely, and she's really like encouraged me to have a go. And when you watch YouTube, you get like the odd like recommendation, don't you, that comes up. So I watched it, and it was the video of him showing you sort of how to cast it on. Oh my word, he was so lovely, and it seemed so easy to follow. So yeah, that's what I've got. And I have my yarn. I didn't buy it intentionally. That's what I say, I just buy like the odd skein here and there, rather than buy stuff that goes together. So that's what I need to learn, and I think I'm starting to understand that, as well as is it gradient? Like if you're going to make something. So I'm starting to understand those sets as well now. So yeah, that's what I would like to do. So that's my 2 of my Make 9s at the moment. I have got a rough list. Let me just show you. I'm not going to show you actually my list because my handwriting is appalling. Where have I put it? So organised, you see. Oh, here we are. It's on the first page. That's why I couldn't find it. Yes, I want to make the jumper for myself. So that's my Whitmore. I want to make the Stephen West shawl, and I also want to make a cardigan for myself. And I know that, I'm not sure if it has been released or it's about to be released, is the Whitmore cardigan, and I would definitely like to make that. But I've also seen a cardigan called, is it Lush? And that's like a yoky cardigan. So what I've done is I've gone in my wardrobe and had a look at the kind of things I like and what I feel flatter me. So I think that I would have more confidence wearing something like that, and I'll get more wear out of it. So yeah, and I also want to do the box of socks, and I managed that this year. I managed that in 2020, so I think that's more than achievable this year. But I'd like to try perhaps some different toes, some heels, and I'd like to do some different patterns and things. So yeah, so I've got my sock up there, which I will finish, so I'll be able to show you that next time. And then I've got my Hokey Lokey Telly sock that I'm going to do for my February sock, which is in the beautiful red yarn that I showed you. Just bear with me, I'll grab it and show you. Yeah, so this is my future knitting, and this has been in my queue since about September, and it's got cables down it, so it fits into that category of making a different kind of sock. I can do cables, and this is the yarn. Let's come on round a bit. But this is Claire's Red Dress by Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit, and it's from Outlander, where Claire comes down the staircase in this amazing red dress. I love red. Red's my favourite colour. I don't often wear it. Obviously, I'm hanging on to my red nails for dear life. And I've got my red Chanel lipstick that my husband bought me. It was very expensive. And if I'd have known, I'd have said no. But he doesn't know how much a lipstick costs. So that's that. So then I thought I would have a section called Stash Dash. I'll be back in a minute. Right, my word of the year. I'm going to do it this year, I've decided, and I've been thinking long and hard about this. I had two words, and they were believe and hope. And I think before New Year, I was going to choose hope. I was fairly sure I was going to choose that, but the more I thought about it and the more that I've reflected, I sort of looked up the meaning, like the definition. I understand what both of those words mean, but I think sometimes it helps to have that clarity of thought if you go back, go back to basics and you look up the definitions. So for believe, it's an acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one that you don't have the proof, but you have trust and confidence in that. That's especially related to faith. If you have faith, and hope is a feeling of expectation or desire. And hope was really like a strong contender, but I'm thinking of all aspects of my life as well as what's going on in the world at the moment. So I've decided that I'm going to have believe as my word, and that is for myself, my family, my community, that I exist within and in the world as a whole, especially with the pandemic. As I say, I put up a video just after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, and I included some footage of the projects that I had worked on throughout 2020. I think it was only 2019 that I actually kept a photographic record. I have a written record of my projects, and while that is lovely and I do use that, especially where the boys are concerned, I can go back and see what size I've made one of them, and if I've made any alterations on a pattern. But the photographic record has a lot more of an impact on me, especially as a person. And my daughter bought me a knitting journal for Christmas 2018, and if you just bear with me, I'll just get it. So this is the knitting journal that she bought me, and this is where you keep a record of everything that you have made. And inside, let's see if I can find one that's got a picture. I've got some pictures to go in. Let's see, I should have marked that really. I've got quite a lot of pictures that I've got to go in. But as you can see, this one here, this is in January, so yeah, a little bit about a week later this time last year, and this is the hat, the antler hat that I made for Fred. So I was photographing all my projects, and then at the end of my video I put them on, and I couldn't believe how much I'd made. One, how much I'd made, and two, the kind of projects that I'd made. I think when I wasn't seeing my youngest grandson, I'd knitted for him a lot. At the beginning of the year, I hadn't seen him very much, and then during the sort of the summer up until about September, I hadn't really seen him very much. So I think I was putting my love and my feelings in my knitting, and there was a couple of projects there for my mum. Mother's Day, we weren't supposed to see each other on Mother's Day because we were all going out for a meal, and she didn't want to come. But also my youngest daughter's birthday was the following weekend, so she said out of the two she's going to come out. She would rather come for that, but we didn't make it, unfortunately, because of COVID. So I knitted her a shawl, and there was a lot of love, a bit of laughter, and some tears in that. But I think that's probably why we make things, and we get so much pleasure in that we choose the pattern, we choose the wool for people, you know, with them in mind, and we just put all our love and our energy into it. So yeah, it was quite cathartic watching all that, thinking wow. And then I could see a point in my knitting and in my confidence. I think I had the ability. I just didn't have the confidence. And as I say, I'm very much I'll take one step forward and two steps back, and I'm quite happy somebody else is better than me, and that doesn't bother me. But I find it very hard to say that I'm not very good, but I'm good at something. So yeah, so believe is what I'm going to do for myself. Believe in that I'm going to see my family again. I'm going to be able to hang out with them. I'm going to hug them and touch them, and yeah, not have to like make an appointment. We can get together. Same for everybody, and believe in the world that we are going to reach a point. We're already on that way. The vaccinations are out in the world. Obviously, it's going to take time. It is a process, and I'm fine with that. You know, there was a time last year that it was so far in the distant future that we we couldn't even envisage that. And I'm hoping that by the time we are all vaccinated, and you know, sort of, I don't know, in a year's time, we'll be in an even better position as a world and as people, as humans, and there might be a bit more kindness, a bit more compassion, and a bit more understanding. So yeah, I'm a believer. So we will see this time next year what we come back, what my word will be. But that would be good, wouldn't it? Eh? Would be good if the world was a kinder place and a friendlier place. I think that's what's so hard when you're in the crafting community. Everybody's just so lovely. So that's my word. That's my word for the year, and I'm really going to look at that and digest it and be constantly thinking about it. So let me know. Let me know if you're going to do a word, what your word is and why, or just what your word is, and leave me a comment down below. And that'd be nice to hear what your word is. Right, stash. So as I say, I'm in the process of reorganising it, cataloguing it, and updating some figures, and it just works in my head. It might not work in yours, but I just find that quite interesting. And so I've now got to bring in all my hand-dyed yarn and see what I have used for 2020. So this was yarn that I used from Snuggly Stars, and this was my lotus hat that I made. I'll put this on. Just right around. I evidently pull it down too far on my. Oh, I don't like that. You see, I haven't got a fringe. I've done my eyebrows. So I have this was DK, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then I have my beautiful mitts that I made. I think they're called, is it the Sabah knits? So they're on there. This is coming up a lot brighter, this turquoise. It's a lot more muted. And I've got arms that go the wrong way. So I have that. That looks even worse. I can't do it. Let me take that off. So I have these. I have this and that, and I am a bit like, oh crumbs, you know, you kind of got a match girl. You know, you can't have red on your nails and different on your toes, that kind of thing. Your handbag's got matching shoes. That's just how I am. Well, it's kind of got to coordinate. But I'm trying not to buy yarn. I'm not putting myself on a yarn ban, because if I put myself on a yarn ban, then I'll buy more. I'll be alright until I buy that one ball, and then that'll be it. That's what happened when I ended up with those advent boxes. So I have these, they go with this. And I'm like, well, what do I have? I haven't got anything that would go. I probably had a cream, but I just thought it might get a bit more dirty, you know, sort of around here. It's not like I'm dropping my food or anything like that, but it might be like a bit of makeup. And I don't spit as far as I know, or dribble. So I just thought, yeah, I don't want cream sort of around here, really. So while I was recataloguing my yarn, I was after a DK, and the majority of the hand-dyed yarn that I have is 4-ply. I found this. Look at this. This is Dovestone DK. I used to be a ginger. And I miss that. I'll just go in white. So I thought, how good would that be? Look. So that'd be my cowl. So that'll pick up bits in there, and it'd be a perfect. I think that look okay. Do you think? I'll lay around that way. And I've got a navy coat, and I thought that would look really nice. Yeah, I really like that. So I'm absolutely made up, and I hadn't given that a thought, because I think I bought this in a sound, didn't know what to do with it. I got it at Black Sheep Wool, got it at a really good price. So yeah, I've got my DK, and it is, let me just check. It's British, yeah, 100% British, spun and dyed in Yorkshire, and it's a blend of 50% Blueface Leicester and 25% Wensleydale long wool and 25% dark brown Masson. So if you have used this, let me know. I'd be really interested to hear what you've got to say about that. So yeah, so I was pleased with that. So I've got a full set now for my mustard hat shawl. So I need to do this. So yeah, so that's my stash bust. I need to remember what it's called. Right, incoming goodies. I was really spoilt for Christmas. My husband gave me some money to buy myself some yarn. I think there was another Yorkshire Yarn, there was another Yorkshire Yarn Fest. I think it was the Saturday before Christmas, so I was able to order the yarn of my choice, which was lovely. And he also bought me, it's beautiful, it's so big, this beautiful basket, which is one of these Wovenology bulgur baskets, and I really like the ethos behind these. So these are made in Ghana, and it's the ladies of the villages that are making these. So no two baskets are exactly the same, because they're handmade, hand woven, and the money goes to these villages to help sustain them. So yeah, I really like that, and kind of helping to empower women, which is just right up my street. I'm all for that. So yeah, I'm really thankful that I got such a really lovely and thoughtful gift. So that was nice. It wasn't a surprise. He said to me, "What would you like?" And I mentioned this, and he bought me that. And then I was just discussing Yorkshire Yarn Fest with my daughter, and I said I wasn't going to get anything. I was going to be good. I perhaps might just get one skein, but I didn't really need anything. And he said, "Oh, I was thinking of getting you something else. I'll just put some on your account." I was like, "Thank you." So what else did I get? Oh, my youngest daughter, I haven't got it to show you. I've got a copper basket behind me. She made me a mindful basket, which was really funny, because I made a exact sort of it was the same theme, but hers has come in like a beautiful like rose gold wired basket, and she's put like chocolates in there. She's put a mug in there. There's some herbal teas, like a notebook and a pen, a lovely bag with my initial on, with like bath salts and some like really nice hand gel from the Body Shop. What else? Yeah, really lovely what she bought me. So I paid her fine. But we're supposed to be recycling everything, so I gave hers in the dog food box. But I didn't put any wrapping paper on because we're not supposed to be using the wrapping paper. I did get the cellophane, so she had that, but I had the cellophane, and she had like very similar. We were both laughing that we hadn't discussed it, and we'd actually, you know, chosen very similar things. And my eldest daughter, she kind of made me a crafty basket, which was lovely. Again, she'd used wrapping paper and wrapped it all up. She got a dog box in return with all her gifts, and she received one of these baskets, but a smaller one, but green. Oh, so all her yarn and that was in there. But yeah, we were laughing. They'd sort of wrapped theirs all up nicely. But recycling. And she'd put different things in there for me, which was really lovely. And then my son-in-law, bless him, I think he'd gone to the garage. He was just standing there waiting to pay as you do, and he noticed there were these little this bag of chocolate, but it was all like single whole nut, and I'd evidently been moaning that you can't get it for love nor money. It's one of my favourite chocolates, and he bought me a great big bag. I thought that was really sweet of him. So in my box from my daughter was this. Look at that. Look at all those lovely ladies. And I know that Jeanette from Crafty CLEGG has made the Queen. And I'm reading a book called Gutsy Women by Hillary Rodham Clinton and Chelsea Clinton, her daughter, and it's about influential women. There's quite a few that are on this cover that are in that book. And then I have some yarn from my daughter, and it's called, it's by Giddy Yarns, but it's called Grandma's Christmas Tree. Look at that. Oh, you can see the sparkles, can't you? Put it in front of my face. That is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so that was really nice. So yes, so lovely. Yeah, really nice. And then from Benjamin, he bought me a he's very clever, a beautiful photo frame with a picture of him and I'll have to have a look, and it was taken around his first birthday, and it was a photograph I didn't think I'd get because of what is going on, and it's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. It's black and white, so it's really lovely. And yeah, just lovely things, and a handmade calendar, which is really nice. So yes, and I think that might be it. I think that might be the end of all what I wanted to share with you. Right, so I'm going to come back in a couple of weeks, and hopefully I'll have some more things to share with you. Hopefully some crochet if I can find it. I'll find it as soon as I stop filming. So yeah, how are you guys? How was Christmas? How was New Year? For us it was very quiet. We're on our own, but you know what, it was actually okay. As a family, we love Christmas, and we tend to get together and we share it, and we like all the corny stuff and, you know, all that kind of thing. But change is hard when it's forced upon you. But there were lots of good things that come out of Christmas for us. It was a sense of peace and calm. We're very fortunate that everybody was healthy and everybody was together, in the sense of, you know, my daughters were with their husband and partner my mum was, you know, with her husband. My Uncle David was, you know, with his wife. My brother was with his family. So I have a very small family, so we were all okay. Christmas Day, everybody tends to come to us, and my husband and I love it, and we just, you know, we've got room for everybody to come and stay, and so we tend to sort of congregate, you know, together. But that wasn't going to be, you know, like the kids will come home. That's what I mean. So my husband and I decided before Christmas Day that we were going to be in our pajamas all day, because I never seem to get time to like get ready or do my hair. It's always a bit of a rush because I'm doing everything else. So we had brand new pajamas, and we had a pajama Christmas Day, which I wouldn't have dreamt of ever having. But yeah, it was really nice. Our day was spent with phone calls, videos, you know, what's it called, FaceTime throughout, and then the ultimate was a group WhatsApp call, which we weren't expecting, we hadn't planned, but it just evolved. And do you know what? It was great. It was absolutely great. Both my girls said how hard Christmas is when you have to do everything. You know, like all the preparation, all the shopping, all the wrapping, and yeah, and then you have to do all. By the time you've done all that, then it's time to like do all the cooking and the cleaning and the tidying up, all that kind of thing, and also how expensive it is. They do tend to make contributions, which is gratefully received. Years ago, my mum and my nana used to, because they lived in the same town. One year, my nana would do Christmas Day, and then the next day my mum would do Boxing Day. So we'd have roast turkey Christmas Day, and then we'd go to the other house and we'd have like roast beef, and that's what we've always done. And then New Year's Day, we'd probably have roast turkey again, and my nana always used to make 3 Christmas puddings: Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Day. So you kind of have a Christmas Day dinner all over again, and we keep the tree up, which I still do, and it goes down the 2nd or 3rd or 4th of New Year. So yeah, we were all together. I think my daughter took her tree down between Christmas Day and New Year's Day because she'd had it up since the middle of November. So she was more than happy for it to go away. Plus, I think she was fed up with Fred keep moving the baubles, and she bought both of them one of these guns, and they were being fired into the tree. So she was forever having to get all these out of the tree. So that was their target put away. So I hope whatever you did, was peaceful and enjoyable. I always like the time between Christmas and New Year because it's quiet, and you don't have to sort of go out, don't have to see anybody, and you can just sort of lock the world out. It's no different. But yeah, so New Year, it's just my husband and I. My husband really likes staying up for 12 o'clock. I'm really not that bothered. I can quite easily just go to bed at all the time. I think it's because I'm just tired, because we've done all the cooking and preparation beforehand and everything, so I'm more than ready to go to bed. I do stay up to keep him company, but he was going to go to bed, but then we realised it's 11:20, so we thought, we'd better stay up, so we did that. So yeah, we've just been quiet. We've watched a few Netflix. I don't know if any of you have seen Bretherton, that's set in 1840s, sort of Victorian time. No, not Victorian time, Georgian time, because it's Queen Anne that's on the throne. It's the Mad King George. And beautiful, like the music's lovely, the costumes, the costumes just alone are worth like watching it for. So we've enjoyed watching that, so that's good. We've just watched one, oh crumbs, I can't remember, and it's about football. Is it called? It's History of Football, English football. I think there's 5 parts, and it's set in that's set in about 1860, 1880, and it's about the history of the Etonians evidently sort of took the football game over, gave it sort of the rules and conditions, and formed like the FA Cup. And they had been drawn against, was it Blackburn or Derby? Oh, no, not Derby. it's not in the northern towns, which I live in the northwest, for any of you that don't know. So they went to Preston North End, and I don't think that was actually where it was, kind of set, but it was lovely to sort of see the, well, I'm probably going to be quite controversial now, but the Northerners, we're okay. I'm an adopted Northerner, as you can tell from some of you from my accent, but that was really interesting. So I've been watching that. What have I been reading? Oh, I've been reading, I think I showed you just for Christmas, this huge book called Gutsy Women, and it's about their view, influential women. A lot of it is, there's a lot more Americans in there than what I was thinking, which I'm not bothered about. I just thought it would be worldwide. It would be a bit more across the board rather than a bit more. I didn't expect it to be so focused, but it's an interesting reading. But I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I think I've kind of not had enough of the book, but I think I just want to read something a bit different. So I picked Little Women up. I don't know if any of you seen the film, the new one. I used to watch the old one with my daughters, and it's something we do tend to watch, now and again, sort of once a year. We might, if we've got get an afternoon to get a couple of hours together, we could put that on and just sort of reminisce when they were little. We used to do that. That was worth watching. What else? Oh, yes, I've got a couple of challenges for myself. Last year was technology, so I think I have smashed that. The fact that I am still podcasting, I think I can do a little bit of tweaking, but I think I've got the majority of it, and I'm happy. I'm happy that I can put that up, and I think it's watchable in the sense of lighting and volume and hopefully content. I really want to focus on Ravelry and get to the grips of that. I'm getting better. I don't find it the easiest program to navigate, but I'm learning. And Instagram, I'd like to get a bit better with Instagram. I'd like to be able to do the stories. So they're kind of, you have a goal, and then I think you move along as you progress. So by the time this is up, my Ravelry page for this year will be up to date, and then I intend to keep that up to date. And what else? I'm doing a test knit. I think I'm allowed to say I'm doing a test knit for LYNDSEY TRANTER of Stitch Create Love, and she's just shown a cowl on Instagram that she is in the process of it being test knitted, so I'm working on that for her. It's lovely. Yeah, so you'll like that. And I'm really happy, to have been asked and to be able to do it. So that's good. That's improved my confidence as well. Not only did she ask me the first time, but she's asked me a second time. So I'm like, oh, that's good. Don't ask me to do anything too complicated. But yeah, I can do that. And what else did I want to say? Oh, I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask me anything. I'm not sure I'll answer everything. But yeah, I would really like to grow the community on this channel. So either leave me a message below and I'll pick that up, or send me an email and I'll have the details at the end of the podcast of where you can find me. But there will be the notes. I don't know when you look at YouTube. I think if you're watching on the TV, it's I don't know how to do, but when you're looking at it, it will be your bottom right, I think, and it's my left. Yeah, so it's your bottom right. It says show more. So if you're watching it on your phone or a computer or iPad or whatever, click on that and then everything will come up. So all the details of where you can find me will be there. You'll be able to go on Ravelry, but you'll also be able to, and you can also leave me a comment under this. So leave me a comment and ask me a question. And yes, I'm hoping to answer all the questions. Depends how personal they are, what you ask. But yeah, I thought that would be quite fun. So your question for today, the lights were just going. I thought it was lightning. Your question for today is, I think I've even forgotten it, is, what was it? Oh, to let me know, yes, what your word is for this year. If you've chosen a word, let me know, and let me know the reason why. And then I want to have a make along. I thought that would be a really good idea. That would be really nice. So give me some ideas. Let me know, so that by sort of 2 weeks' time, when I put my next podcast up, we can have a make along. I've got a couple of ideas. I know, like, it'd be nice to have one that you can sort of dip into over the course of a year, and then maybe have something that we run for like 3 months, and I'll do some prizes. I think if it's going to be overseas, because of the cost of postage, I will give you the prize of the equivalent value in Ravelry patterns. I understand how to gift knit. I understand how to gift a pattern now. So I could do that. Yes, I was thinking, we can either do, something that is you're half finished or less that you started and you want to finish, and it could be, maybe it's a blanket, and you're not going to sit there and do that by the end of the month, but maybe you would do a bit each month. Maybe we could do something like that. Or have you ever bought anything? Let me just go and get something. Right, I'm back, sorry. Yeah, so have you ever bought anything? Well, I bought this. And I bought this in October 2018. So I've already had it 2 years. So it's a very, well, supposedly, simple floral monogram embroidery kit. I would like to embroider, and I've realised now that if I want to do something, I need to do it in small stages so that I sort of build up my skill level. So I thought that would be really nice, and that could go in my craft or my craft corner. So I've got that, and then I bought this in March 2019, and this is supposed to go in Benjamin's nursery. Still not done it. It's nearly 18 months old. So I've had it 2 years in March. I was wondering whether we could do something like that. Or I've got like a half finished object. Let me just go and get this. I have this. Well, that looks a bit rude. You're supposed to be a fox. You're supposed to be for my daughter. And I did make it when she was little. But I think it's a good 5 years. I think so. 4 years. So I need his arms. And then I've got patterns to make some clothes for him. So, yeah, I think it's about 4 years. I think it's before, was it before she had Fred? Or was she carrying Fred? Just had Fred. She's madly into foxes. Probably will make it and she won't be into it. But we could do something. We could do something like that. So give me some ideas. Yes, if you want to sort of join a make along. So looking for something that is, yeah, like perhaps a quarterly one and maybe like a yearly one, and see what we come up with, and that would be quite fun. So I would need to learn how to do a Ravelry podcast group. And then I think I need to do threads. I don't understand how that works, but where I am now, yeah, I can do that. I can believe I can do it. So I hope you're all keeping safe. I hope you're keeping as sane as you can do. So keep safe. Try and keep 2 meters apart. 2 meters apart. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wear a mask. Yes, and on that note, we'll just see how that goes. And I look forward to seeing you very soon, in a couple of weeks. The 31st is going to be the last day, so I think it's less than 2 weeks. Excuse me, I've been talking too long, and I'll see you then. I just came back on because I didn't say goodbye. Or did I? I don't know. Perhaps it's too late for now. But yeah, goodbye, and don't forget, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would be made up. And leave me a comment. That would be lovely. I always try and leave a comment. It might not necessarily be when I've watched it, if I've watched it for a morning cup of tea, but then I'll go back on. I'm showing my age, I think, or my inability, my technical inability. Then I go into my computer room, not my computer room, into my office, my study, and yeah, leave a comment, and yeah, and give me a like. That would be so nice. Yeah, spread some kindness, and recommend me to somebody else. That would be lovely. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. So take care of yourselves, and I look forward to you joining me again and sharing some crafty news. Tell me what your make lines are, or what your plans are for 2021. We are coming of age. Goodbye.